dance. It almost sounds like it's saying it's being reported instead of recorded. That just sounds. That's just something I had to say on what it sounds like to me. Oh, still plenty of things I'm witnessing in my life that I have to report about. I know sometimes I sound like Walter Cronkite or Dan Rather or some other newsman, where this is my world, or part of our world, or that's the way it was. I continue to receive Garrison Keillor's Writer's Almanac, and sometimes I find some real gems in there of information. Like the one I saw this past week. It reminded me of how I was curious about why some universities had names that weren't after churches or states. And it's like Yale, Vanderbilt, Stanford. They were all named after their benefactor. Well, this week he spoke about another one that was named after its benefactor, Johns Hopkins. And it was fun for me to find out that Johns Hopkins made his fortune from selling moonshine and then investing in a railroad, which paid off even better than selling moonshine. It's like, well, I guess you give people what they want. That's what a good businessman does. And then you invest it well. And now it's the name of not only a university, but a great hospital. So he did some good, even though got people drunk. So you have to forgive one for the other, I guess. And of course, I've noticed it's the time of year where when it gets warmer in a place like Minnesota, you see a lot more bugs. I went to the Saints game over the weekend, and yeah, I had to contend with a lot of bugs. And then when I got home, I had to crush one of those intruder bugs, and I did it with something very unusual. Oh no, it was a pretty big one. I'm trying to think. No, not that big, Ski. At least the size of my thumbnail. And I crushed it with a hockey puck because that seemed to be the closest thing available that I knew would do the trick. So it's like, all right, it was just a souvenir hockey puck. Now it's getting used again, so yay for that. And I'm still out and about doing the, Amiella must have liked that. And I still have to get out from time to time to do chores and errand running. I go to the grocery store, and when I did that on Friday, I got back and yeah, I saw what Ski wrote about the bug. And when I got back, I saw a vanity plate on a Mazda in front of me that said Cheetos, and it's like, all right. I guess that works for you on telling people you like Cheetos. I guess I like it too, but it just reminds me of the observation I've made before about how there are different names for those types of license plates. I got used to them being called personalized plates where I grew up when I was young, but I think the more common term is vanity plate. And I guess that does fit the bill because if you're willing to pay a little extra for one of these special plates, you have to be a little vain to do it. My stepfather liked putting M Twins for the Minnesota Twins on his Iowa license plates, and he would always ask me what I was going to get for a vanity plate. It's like, I don't feel the need to get one. I mean, I get the common one that's not a vanity plate. It's just as legal and it doesn't cost as much. Each their own. He did once get a discount on his parking fee at a Twins game because somebody liked seeing that vanity plate. But otherwise, I don't know what he really gets for it. Well, I mean, that's another story about my stepfather. I wanted to describe him one time to somebody that hadn't met him, and they said, he's too much like Homer Simpson, a half-witted oaf. End of story.
That's me.
So there we go. And then I like going to Walgreens. Yeah, I say that. I leave off the S. Let me have that one. And this week, I saw somebody who was holding up the line, although I didn't say anything because I would have been considered the rude one. And she wanted to show people camera phone pictures of her dog, a Chihuahua. And it's like, okay, but you're holding up the line. And the other observation I made about her was the hat she was wearing, which said, shit happens. In this case, she's the shit that's happening. Some people don't know aren't always aware of their surroundings. I'm still doing the 2-movie weekends too. And what I like is I keep hashtagging Redbox when I post on Twitter about it, and they keep liking those postings. So, all right. And sometimes they respond to you and saying, "Oh, sounds like you had a fun weekend." Yeah, I guess I did. I mean, what's not to like about Redbox movies? Way cheaper than going to the movie theater. I don't have to deal with everybody at the movie theater either. But that's another story. The Redbox movie I watched was Promising Young Woman. I should have known going into it that when it's a revenge story that I wasn't going to enjoy it as much as Nomadland, which was last week's selection. I was right. I didn't enjoy it as much. I like the music in it. Juice Newton's version of Angel of the Morning is in it, but it's still a reminder of how some men can be really dumb in relationships. The main character dates a classmate from med school. She's a med school dropout that works at a coffee shop, and I just couldn't understand how some men are like that, but apparently they are. She spits in his coffee, he still drinks it. She is seen with somebody else, he's still interested. She blackmails him, still says he loves her. It's like, you're an idiot! But some men don't want to be alone. Some people don't want to be alone. So unfortunately, I don't think that's far from the truth on how some men are. Art imitates life, life imitates art. There are some people that probably enjoy that movie more than me, but it's hard to say who that would be. The other one I watched was Career Opportunities. I saw a recent article about it on its 30th anniversary, and it's like, well, it's a John Hughes movie. He wrote and produced it. All right. Not as great as other John Hughes movies, but I still like the story of it, mostly taking place in a big department store, a Target. There's still something to be said for that type of story. So there were some redeeming qualities to it. And of course, Target's still around. So I guess that's one reason why it seemed relevant to me. A good time capsule for what Target looked like 30 years ago, because I know they don't have snack bars now because many of them replaced it with liquor departments, which probably is more profitable than the snack bars if they have the grocery section. You have to adapt to what they have because they're only going to sell what sells. I get it. So there was that. And I'm still picking up eBay and Amazon orders at the post office, and that means sometimes I see the loopy post office employee who gets them for me from the window. And I'm not sure if he realizes how much comedy material he gives me. He starts off with calling me trouble, and it's like, yeah, it's pretty tame. And then he starts saying things like, oh, you got a magazine there. Is it a Playboy? And it's like, well, I am a man. I've seen porn before, like most men, but is he aware that now a lot of porn is online? You don't need magazines for that. It was a Wild West magazine. And then he said he wanted to see me perform so he could throw tomatoes at me. Well, I guess if he has any reason for throwing tomatoes at me, it's because he's giving me all this material, and he should know that by now because I'm going to use what's there. I'm not going to tell people, though, but I can't ignore inspiration either. And there are a lot of other things he said, but that's not the only thing that happened, and I think that's a pretty good start on the type of dude he is, especially if you remember the other times I've spoken about him. Nothing wrong with being loopy as long as you are good at what you do. I mean, if being loopy is an icebreaker, then great, go with that. I know that's what I said about the former owner of a laundromat, who would call me Iowa. She never bothered to get to know my name, I guess. She just remembered the coat that I was wearing. I had a day off today for a dental appointment. I still want to stay active besides the dental appointment, which wasn't until afternoon. So there were different things to do. Like I got something wrote up for the State Historic Society because they want people to share stories about the pandemic. And it's like, well, yeah, I'm a history major. I want to contribute to history, so I did that. And then I shared a picture this time from a second COVID shot. There's a greater chance they'd actually publish it because most of those on the website have a picture with it. So there was that. And then over the weekend, it was also great to see an old friend back in town at an IHOP. It's nice to get out and see people away from the clubs. It's nice to have common interests with performers that go beyond performing. I mean, we shouldn't be one-dimensional people. We only have so much time on stage, and then we have to fill the rest of the day, the rest of the week with something else. And I like when I can find that. And unfortunately, that seems to be so rare in the performing community. Like, no, I can't box myself in. I don't want to be on all the time and always working on material. It can be annoying to be around some of those people in the performing community. So you have to live for the good ones. I guess it's called life, where I met some good friends, also met some people that I find to be annoying. And then, yeah, I'll get back to the Saints game. I went to my second one of the season on Saturday, and there was somebody in my general mission section that wanted to give away their friend's beer, thinking, oh, they hadn't come back, they got thrown out. And I said, well, what kind of beer is it? He wouldn't tell me. So I said, I don't want to drink it if I don't know what it is. So then somebody else said, well, I'll take the beer. It's like, okay. And then the friends came back, and the guy who claimed the beer said, no backseas. And it's like, well, if you start drinking something, yeah, I can see that. And then they asked me later on to do a camera phone picture after the game was over. And it's like, well, yeah, I'm watching a game by myself. I get used to that, where people ask me to take pictures for them. It was no big deal. I just had to say, I've got a flip phone. Just help me out with on how you take it on the smartphone. It's like, all right, you just press one button. Good, done. So not a big deal on that. But I mean, it's still weird the way that friends act around each other, where they think they have a right to do things for them. And it's like, yeah, I guess you have to be careful on who you trust as friends and have as friends. But if they were younger than me, you'll learn if you get burned bad enough. Giving away a beer, I guess, isn't a big offense, but it might escalate from that. But not my problem. It's transitory. I probably won't see them again. So that'll do it for me. Thank you. You've all been great.
Yay! Thank you, Lyle.